crafty friends, welcome to my channel, Craft with Barbara Drake. And today I am making a card using the retired cardstock in colors 2020 to 2022. We have Misty Moonlight, Magenta Madness, Just Jade, Cinnamon Cider, and Bumblebee. So I'm going to be making an A2 size card. And the sale is going on right now, and if you haven't taken advantage of it, I would. The cardstock, let me get my cheat sheet out here. As far as the cardstock goes and the classic stamping pads, they are available as of this morning. All of them were available. The Stampin' Blends, the alcohol markers, they were all available, and they are on sale for $7.20, except for Magenta Madness, and it was $5.40. And the ink refills have sold out of Just Jade. Bumblebee is sold out. They have Magenta Madness is still in. And Misty Moonlight and Cinnamon Cider, it says currently unavailable, which I believe is they don't have them right now, but they are expecting more in. Also, the Stampin' Up markers are going to be retiring, and they are on sale right now and still available for $12. They also had some in-colored gems that are on sale for $6.40 that were still available as of this morning. Now, the sale goes until when the catalog ends, which is May 2nd, but I'm sure a lot of items are going to be sold out before then. So today's card, I'm going to be using these colors, and I'm going to be using two punches, the rectangular postage punch and the banners pick-a-punch. So with that said, come on down to my craft table and let's get started. Okay, the materials needed are basic white cardstock, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. The card is going to be in landscape mode. Piece of Misty Moonlight. This is a, here we go, 4 by 5 1/4, and I embossed it with the Tasteful Textile 3D embossing folder. This folder is being retired, and the last I looked, it was it's on sale for $7.20. So I ran that through the embossing folder, or the embossing machine. And then you're going to need a piece of basic white, 4 1/4 by 3. And then I just have scraps of the 4 colors: Cinnamon Cider, Magenta Madness, Just Jade, and Bumblebee. So the navy blue, the misty blue, I'm not going to have a piece cut out for that. I'm using that layer for the misty blue. So the first thing we're going to do is, the stamp set that I'm using is Jar of Flowers, and it is still available, and it's going to be carried over into the next annual catalog. I'm going to be using these 4 floral stamps. And for my sentiment, I'm going to use this thank you, and this is being retired, and when I checked this morning, the item number here, it's not coming up, so I'm assuming it's probably already sold out. And that, again, that is being retired. So the first thing we're going to do some stamping. I'll start with magenta, and I'm going to stamp, let's see, the first flower I'm going to use, I'll use this one here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be punching them out with the postage, rectangle postage punch. This is getting carried over into the new calendar, or new catalog. So I'm just going to randomly just place this on here, the cardstock, put that off to the side, my simple chamois off to the side of me so I can clean that off. And let's see, we'll do the Just Jade next. And I'll use this one here. I'm going to stamp it out this way. Let me see here, because I'm going to, yeah, that's correct. Just stop and think how the postage stamp I was going to have it cut out, whether it be in portrait or landscape. And then for the cinnamon cider, I think it's this color, or this stamp next. You can use this with any stamps that you have, any floral stamps, or if you have any animal stamps, you know, any type of little critters. Come off. And then last is Bumblebee. And we're going to use the sunflowers on this. I think this stamp is the prettiest out of all of them. I love the sunflowers. Okay. Bring these back because we're going to use those again. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and punch these out. And I'm just going to get it in there the best I can, just trying to eye the stamp position. And on this one here, I'm going to, instead of going this way with it, I'm going to go this way. Now, I want to show you a little trick here. If your paper is, your cardstock is too small, what I've seen some people do is just take a Post-it note and use it as a handle, put it on there. That way you can guide it in there a little easier. Because I want it to go down this way. So see, it gives you a handle. Try to figure out what design I want there. That's good enough. That's a good tip to know. And the same on this stamp. I've got this going in portrait, this is in landscape. And it's only because the way the card's going to be put together, I mean, you could do that if you wanted. Depends on your card layout. I don't want to cut that off there. There we go. Okay, that's it for the punch. Now, oh no, I'm not done yet. I still have this one to do. Magenta Madness. All right, and then this one here. I'll go this way. Those are pretty flowers. Pretty colors too. So I'm doing a tone on tone. I'm just taking the same cardstock with the same color ink to make our card. All right, these can go off to the side. Now we're going to do some ink blending. This is your 4 1/4 by 3. And I'm going to take each of the 5 colors and just in random, nothing specific, and just going to kind of make the background, just give it some color using all these 5 colors. And I'm not going very, just lightly on it. Let's see, Bumblebee. Just Jade. If you wanted to emboss this piece, you could, but you're not going to see very much of it, so that's why I didn't. Okay, then Magenta Madness. Find a spot over here that's and then last is my favorite color, Misty Moonlight. Getting a colorful grid on that. Alright, so the purpose of this was so the background wouldn't just be stark white, which, you know, is no problem if that's what you wanted to do, because it's going to go on here like this way here. So let me see here. Let's get this piece on the card base. Getting low on my glue. Hopefully pick the right side here. You got a debossed and an embossed side. I think I like that side better. If you prefer to use seal for this, you can. The liquid glue gives you a little bit of wiggle room if you don't get it on here perfectly. You can move it. And that looks good. Okay, now before I put this piece on, these pieces are going to go on here like this. And I am going to use liquid glue only because I do need the wiggle room to just try to get the same amount of space between them. I had taken advantage of the sale on the mini cut and emboss machine, which I am so glad that I did. I was hesitant at first. I wasn't going to get it. And then I thought, well, for the price, it's on sale right now for $48. And I love it. You can use they do have certain embossing folders. The smaller ones, I think they're 3 3/8 wide. That's the widest the little mini will take, and it does a beautiful job. I was impressed with it. I know I've heard a lot of people were having some issues getting it through the machine. Don't put that upside down. But you can't, you got to stagger them a little bit to get them to go in. And always be sure, if you are having issues with that machine, with an embossing folder, check to make sure on your embossing folder. Let me see, where's this? All right, now this is a big one. This is too big for the mini machine. But up here where the name is, make sure if it's 3D or if it's not 3D, because the plates, you have different plates for the 3D, because I was putting one of the embossing folders through and it was just going through. It wasn't catching. I'm like, what is wrong? So I had to pull the embossing folder back out and say, oh, okay, it's 3D. So I had to use the 3D plate. So just make sure if you're having an issue, make sure they're staggered going in. And that if it's an embossing folder, make sure you're using the right plate, the 3D or the regular one if it's not 3D. And the sale on that ends the 31st of March, so we only have a couple days. And then it goes back to the original price of $60. And then in the new catalog, when it comes out May 3rd, it's going up to $63. So if you're on the fence about that cut and embossed that mini, I would go ahead and purchase it now before the price goes up. And what we're going to do, put this on dimensionals and put it on there like this. If you have the foam adhesive sheets, which would probably be, which I should have probably done, instead of using up all my dimensionals. Make sure they're on there. So with these colors retiring, we are going to be having 5 new colors take their place. May 3rd, when the new catalog goes into effect. I can't remember all of the names. I know one is a pretty green. It's called Peacock, or not Peacock. Parakeet something. And I can't even think of the others. But there's a like some blues. Looks like a couple blues. So I'll be anxious when they come out. Okay, now, so see, this is, instead of having a really white background, that ink blending just kind of just muted it out a little bit. So for the sentiment, this sentiment strip, basic white, is 3/4 by 4.5. I'm using the Banners Pick-a-Punch, which is getting carried over into the new catalog. I'm going to go ahead and punch this out here. And then for the sentiment, what I'm going to do is each of the colors here, let me get them in order how I'm going to use them. Navy blue, okay. I have my ink daubers. I mark them off. I have one for each color. And I'm going to start with the, cinnamon cider. And I'm just going to put this on the T and part of the H. Just dab it on here. Now know when you do this, you know your ink's going to start to dry before you get on to the next one, or by the time you get to the last one. So what I've seen several demonstrators do, I'm going to go over part of the H and the A with Bumblebee, is if you huff on it, the heat from your breath, I guess, kind of reactivates that ink, and I guess you get a better image. Misty Moonlight, excuse me, I'm going to do the N and part of the K. Magenta Madness for the rest of the K and the Y. And just Jade for the O and the U. All right, let's see if the now I'm going to just kind of eyeball this here. Actually, it's better if you have it on colored piece so you can make sure you're lined up pretty good there. Let's see how that turns out. Pretty good. I like that. Let me clean my stamp off. As you can see on this stamp, the looks like it stained it some, but that doesn't hurt your stamps at all. Then this, oh, before I go to the next one, I want to make sure that's dry before I mess with it. I'm going to take Misty Moonlight in this stamp. This stamp here for my inside piece, just to give it some decoration. Just going to stamp it down at the bottom. Kind of come off to the side a little bit. There we go. Since I didn't use Misty Moonlight on one of the postage stamps, I'll just use it for the inside piece. Clean that off. And then that will go in there like that. Oh my, did I touch that? I must have. That's why we have a reverse side. Try that again. Come off to the side. I must have had ink on my finger. I didn't realize it. And then that will go in there like that. So with this, what I want to do is, this looks crooked, but there's no way I'm going to get that up now. This will go on here like so. Use the dimensionals again. And there we go. And we have some rhinestones here. These are also being retired. And let me see, these gems are on sale for, I don't know if that's the sale price, it might be $6.40. And let me get my take a pick tool and just put a couple here on the, let me use this end here, on the sunflowers. And I think I'll use a blue one. I'll use a tiny one just between the thank and the U. So that is it. That's the card using our goodbye colors. And let me see here. I had made another card. I made a slimline. And this pattern paper, I used Misty Moonlight. This pattern paper is from the Sweet Symmetry, and I used all 5 of the colors using the punch, the rectangle postage punch. Put a piece of vellum there. This was using, I embossed it in gold embossing powder, some navy twine, and this piece here, as you can see, it's embossed. And I used the same embossing folder, Tasteful Textile, and because this cardstock is longer, because it's not a slimline embossing folder, I ran it through the first time. As you can see right here, it ended right there. It's hard, it is hard to see. And then after I did it that time, I took it out, turned the cardstock around, and then put it in up to there where it ended and ran it through. So just because they don't have slimline embossing folders, you can use it as one. Turn it around and do the other side. Now it's probably going to show up more if you have a darker cardstock, but depending on what you're going to use it for, you know, cover it up, you know, if you have to. But I thought it turned out pretty nice. So these are the 2 cards I made with the goodbye colors. And that's it for the card. Let me know down below. I'm interested to know, what is your favorite color out of the ones that are retiring? I know I mentioned before, I love them all, but I think Misty Moonlight I'm going to miss the most. So let me know down in the comments which one's your favorite and the one you're going to miss the most. So that's it. If you're interested in any of the products that I used today, they will be listed below the video. And if you make a purchase, use this host code. It goes till the end of March. If you don't have a demonstrator and you want to purchase from me, I would appreciate it very much. So that's it for my cards. I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you liked the cards. If you did, give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. And until then, till next time, bye.